Alright, I want to make a video about a FGC topic that always tends to make its round on things like FGC Twitter, and that is execution and how difficult or easy a game should be, and talking about like some pros and cons from both sides, and maybe why it's not as big of an issue that it just gets talked about too much, in my opinion. So let's just talk about pros and cons of execution first. Pros: it's easier for new players. New players do get very intimidated by motion inputs. It's something that they're just unfamiliar with. You know, where we play a lot of FPSs and platformers growing up. It's something we're exposed to, so when we get reintroduced, you know, you play another Call of Duty, play another Halo or something, you're used to the mechanics of a first-person shooter. It's something familiar. But a lot of people don't grow up on fighting games. It's just not something that's as common anymore. FGC is growing. That's a good thing. But it's foreign for a lot of people, and it is a hurdle that must be overcome. I do think things like DNF Duel and Granblue implementing almost like a skill bar is really good. I think it's a great implementation, something that's good for people who might be familiar with something like an MMO or a MOBA. And another thing with low execution is you're more quickly going to get to that optimal routing. You're going to be able to get the most out of your character with less time invested. And for people who have very, very busy schedules, don't have a lot of time they can dedicate to just playing fighting games and training mode and all that jazz, or maybe they just don't like spending time in training mode, it's a huge thing for them. And last point, you're much quicker to start fighting your opponent and not the game. You can very quickly just get the basics of your character down, 20, 30 minutes, and just hop in the game. And you just start playing from there. And I think those are all really great things for low execution games. Now, let's talk about some cons of lowering the execution barrier. Difficult combos can be very rewarding and feel really good to execute in like a real match. And I feel like some of that magic is lost a little bit when you lower the difficulty a little bit too much. I typically stick to low execution characters, but it's still really satisfying to learn something difficult, pull it off in a game, and then be able to reliably add it to your kit. And another thing is execution typically opens up more combo diversity and varied gameplay. For example, in Plus R, there's a lot of different starters, and they have completely different routes. So you start with one thing, and you do something completely different than if you were to start with like a 5K versus maybe a Far Slash or a Dust combo. They're all very different, but it gives you like a good sense of your character's kit and makes scramble situations way more interesting. And another thing with more difficult combo routes being available is it can create tense moments in competitive environments. Let's say you have a situation where someone is about to land a hit, and if they go for their standard bread and butter, you're going to have to open them up again. Maybe you have to set up Oki so they have one more guess left in them. So there's a chance that the opponent could still bring it back if they get out of the Oki situation. But let's say maybe they have just enough health left that you can go for that really risky one-frame link, or in Tekken's case, something like Electric Wind Godfist. We've seen that before, and if you go for that, they don't give their opponent another option. If they can pull off this more difficult execution barrier combo, they can just close the match right then and there, and creates a very, very tense but hype situation for both the players, commentators, and spectators. And that's something lost when just about anyone can do a max damage corner combo. But the thing I really wanted to get to is the FGC is massive. We have a wide variety of games with active scenes. If you don't like low execution, why play a low execution fighting game? Simple as that. Like, I play a lot of Guilty Gear Plus R, and that's a high execution fighting game. It's the least popular of the 3 Guilty Gears that are played competitively, but I can still find a match. I play during random times of the day. I play 10 a.m., 2 p.m. on Monday, Tuesday, during the weekday, and I'm always finding matches. Don't chase Steam charts. You're looking for a fighting game you want to enjoy. Why just go to the most popular one? The FGC is growing. Just look at Combo Breaker numbers, Frosty's numbers, Evo's numbers. There are so many people playing fighting games right now. Just try out a bunch of games and pick the one that's right for you. You can even go to like your locals. If you have locals, just go find games and talk to your community members. Be like, hey, I'm not really liking Strive. It's just not, I don't feel like it's scratching that execution or scratching that like barrier, or like the game feel just feels off. I want to try something else. Do you have any suggestions? Oh, I see you play Plus R. Oh, I see you play Street Fighter or Melty, something like that. I just want to try out the game. Maybe you can explain kind of how it works, how it feels, and see if it's right for me. And I think that's just fine. You just explore your options. There's so many good fighting games out there, and they're all active. There's so many active fighting games. And also, execution's pretty character specific too. Like Faust is a low execution character in a high execution game. He's got J2K FDC, and that is a very difficult technique, but that's really his only technical barrier. And it feels really satisfying to overcome it. I'm working on it right now, and I am so excited to eventually add that to my kit. But regardless, execution is very character specific, and I think that is something that I don't really get talked about. A lot of games just get, oh, everything's easy. Oh, everything's hard. That's not the case. If you play a lot of fighting games, that's not the case. I think just find a character you like in a game you like, off to the races. All said and done right there. I think it's more of something that people just complain about rather than it actually being an issue. Yeah, you can complain about new fighting games being easy or something, but we're seeing a trend, I think, with like Street Fighter 6 is more difficult than Street Fighter 5 in my opinion, and I think Street Fighter 6 is a way better game. I feel like it's very rewarding. It's not my main game, but I think it's a very, very good game. But that's basically just what I want to talk about. Make sure to check out the Discord server in the links below. Trying to get it more active, trying to get a community nights going, ping for games. It's primarily going to be Plus R and MBAT content is what I'm thinking, but feel free to hop in voice chat, share some memes, just hang out. As always, keep pressing buttons. Have a good day.